We are going to be doing an eyebrow tutorial. So this has been highly requested and I'm excited to bring this tutorial to you all. Here's the before and after. On my left I have nothing on my brow and on my right I have it filled in. So when it comes to brows, there's always a rule of thumb. You want it to start at the beginning of your eye, at an angle according to your pupil for the arch, and then also at an angle towards the end of your eye for how it ends. So this is a general rule of thumb to get a natural, nice brow shape. There's minor exceptions to the rules based on your own eye shape and how close your eyes or how far apart your eyes are. But that's the general rule of thumb. So now we're going to get into the different types of brow applications. Alright, so here are the different types of brows that you can use. So you can use a pencil to fill in your brows. You can use a powder to fill in your brows with a brush. And then there's also an option, which is my favorite, is to use a gel or liquid type consistency to fill in your brows. So first, what I like to do is use concealer around the brows. That way you get that really nice definition. And I'm using actually a concealer first that is the same color as my skin tone. When you use something the same color as your skin tone, this is also what I'll use like under my eyes and also on other places on the face. If you're in between brow appointments or you haven't waxed or tweezed or anything like that, it'll really disguise those brow hairs that may just be hanging out. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this everywhere, especially because it acts as a primer. This concealer is actually waterproof, which is nice. So you just want to go ahead and apply concealer first. Okay, so first I'm showing you guys how to fill in your brows using a pencil. Using a pencil helps if you have not that many brow hairs and you want more of a defined look. So what I like to do is actually define the bottom first to define the shape that I want. It actually looks really nice to have a sharp bottom versus sharp all the way around. That can look unnatural. So now that I have a shape I want, you also want to make sure that you blend. Having a blending brush attached to your pencil is most ideal. So I start in the front just by making light upward strokes in the direction of the hair growth. That way you won't have a harsh block in the front of your brow and have like block brows. Then with the rest I'm going to do small strokes in the direction of the arch of my brow. That way I'll get more definition on top. And then you want to make sure that you actually start to fill it in with little brow hair type strokes. So just kind of follow the direction of your natural hair growth to get more of a natural look. It's also more ideal to have from the beginning of your brow to be lighter and go darker as you go towards the arch. When the front of your brow is lighter, it really helps give more of a blended, more natural look. It's actually really nice to use a pencil because it can be really quick once you get the hang of it, and it's pretty easy in defining versus using a powder. Sometimes if you use too much powder, it can look like you have too much on. So you can have a lot of control with a pencil. So the key again is to blend like crazy. That way we have a natural looking defined brow. So now I'm going to show you guys how to use a powder. Now I just grabbed one from my makeup artist kit. It's my universal one that I like to use on most people. Taupe is a very universal color. Anyhow, whenever you have two brow colors that come in a kit, usually that happens, you want to use the lighter color in the front of your brow. That'll give that nice illusion. That way you won't have a square, unnatural look in the front of your brow. Next, you'll go to the darker color in whatever brow powder palette you have, and then you're going to begin filling in. Now, with powders, I actually usually suggest a powder for people that already have a lot of brow hairs and they mainly just want to fill in the gaps versus somebody that doesn't have many brow hairs and wants to define. So normally, I would not just use a powder. Sometimes I actually suggest, for myself, I'll use a powder with a pencil, so you'll kind of see that a little later. But however, if you are one of those people that just wants to fill in your already shaped, gorgeous brow, you just want to go ahead and take the powder and slowly fill in the gaps and just mimicking your shape that you have for your brow. And again, you want it to be lighter towards the front of the brow. So now I'm just showing you with the pencil how I would define if I decided to use a powder with a pencil, which actually can be a really nice look sometimes. So I'm going to basically go ahead and define it more underneath the brow, which is the way you really want to keep it natural, is defining underneath the brow the most. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mimic the brow hair direction again and make it a little bit darker and a little bit more defined. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to use a liquid or gel consistency with a brush for your brows. This is from Temptu. It's actually an airbrush brow product, but you can use it with a brush like you would with a powder. So the great thing about this is it lasts forever. I mean, that's a huge bottle, and I've already had it for like 3 months. Anywho, and the great thing about it is it's in between, it blends like a powder, but it defines like a pencil. So it's like in between both, and it's really easy to use once you get the hang of it. So you want to go ahead and define the bottom of your brow first to get that definition that you want. And then you will start to fill in the brow. Now with the liquid consistency or the gel, I always suggest don't start in the front of the brow when you're filling in. Try to get most of what's already on your brush in the arch and then the back of the brow. And then you'll work your way towards the front to get what's left on your brush in the front. So again, the front of your brow will look a little bit lighter, and then it'll go darker towards the end of your brow. So you just want to use nice, light, short strokes to fill in your brow. Another great thing about this is it blends so well, and it looks a lot like hairs. If you can tell, like it barely looks like I'm filling it in, you know what I mean? Anywho, so again, you want to go ahead and blend it in the front. And with this, you don't need a blending brush. It blends pretty much on its own. And then you fill it into the thickness of your desire. Now I like my brows a little bit thicker. If you want them thinner, you can do thinner. I think right now the trend is having thicker, you know. Whatever pleases your heart's desire. So go ahead and fill in that brow. And the great thing about liquid or gel is you can build up the color. I have really dark hair, so I can continue to go darker if I would like, or I can keep this kind of like natural look. The great thing about this too is this is why I use it on many other clients, because I can kind of customize it to their hair color. So that's the liquid. Now it's time to begin to highlight underneath the brow. Use a concealer a couple shades lighter than your skin tone, or you could use like a matte white eyeshadow, something of that sort. And I'm going to go ahead and define underneath mostly just the arch. If you want a little bit more definition, you can go a little bit further than that, but I recommend mainly the arch of the brow. Really try not to highlight around the entire brow. I know I've seen that a lot. That creates a very unnatural halo, looking like your brows are floating or something. So yeah, don't do that. Anyhow, you want to make sure that you blend it in really nicely underneath your brow, and this will also kind of hide any little extra hairs that haven't yet been tweezed or waxed or anything like that. So that is how you highlight. You can also highlight in the corner of the eye to go along with your eyeshadow. Alright, so I just want to show you guys a great individual blending brush that you can use to blend whatever method you chose to fill in your brows, whether pencil, powder, or even the liquid. And then also, just to tell you guys, I forgot to tell you, the actual brow that I did a tutorial on, I have a strong muscle in that brow, so I tend to do the rock super high movement on my brow, so the arch looks a little higher than the other brow. However, whenever I relax my face, they look the same. Just wanted to say that. But who cares? It's about you guys' brows. I hope you have fun and enjoy your brows. Thanks for watching.